I'm Rachel Morgan, 32 years old, and last Tuesday, my husband Kevin died of a sudden heart attack. The shock still hasn't worn off. When I called my parents, sobbing uncontrollably, my mother said, "We're celebrating Sophia's birthday right now. Can this wait until tomorrow?" My 8-year-old daughter, Lily, and I sat alone that night, holding each other as our world collapsed. I never imagined my family would abandon us in our darkest hour. But what they did next was even worse. If you've ever felt betrayed by family when you needed them the most, please let me know where you're watching from and subscribe, because this story might just give you the strength you need. Kevin and I met during our sophomore year at Northwestern University. I was struggling through economics, and he was the charming teaching assistant who stayed after class to help me understand depreciation curves. His patience was the first thing I fell in love with, followed quickly by his infectious laugh and the way his eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled. We dated through college, and he proposed on graduation day, hiding the ring in my diploma case. We married young at 23, ignoring friends who said we should experience life first. But Kevin was my life. He was the person I wanted to experience everything with. I never imagined I would have to live it without him. After finishing his MBA, Kevin landed a job at a respected financial advisory firm in Chicago. He quickly rose through the ranks. Not just because he was smart, but because he truly cared about people. Clients trusted him, not only with their money but with their stories, their dreams. He never brought work stress home. He left it at the door so he could be fully present with Lily and me. We had 5 beautiful years as a couple before we decided to try for a child. We expected it to be easy. It wasn't. 3 heartbreaking years followed, 2 miscarriages, countless appointments, and a failed round of IVF. Just when we were talking about adoption, I got pregnant with Lily. The pregnancy was tough. I spent the last 2 months on bed rest, and Kevin worked from home to care for me. He never complained. Instead, he brought me breakfast in bed, massaged my aching feet, and read parenting books out loud every night. When Lily was born, he wept holding her, whispering promises to protect her forever. For 8 years, he kept those promises. He was more than a father. He was her hero. And he was the love of my life. As spring approached, I noticed a shift I couldn't quite explain. The group chats about the wedding became quieter on my end. Invitations to cake tastings and florist visits were suddenly shared through social media posts, not personal messages. When I gently asked Rebecca about the next planning meeting, she paused. "Oh. Mom and Megan already handled that last weekend. I thought you were busy with work." I wasn't. That's when I realized something deeper was happening. Decisions were being made without me. The bridal shower venue was chosen and booked before I heard a word. Megan, my cousin, who was once on the fringe of family events, now seemed to be everywhere, tagged in posts with Rebecca and Mom, holding dresses, sipping champagne. And me? I was left clapping from the sidelines. Watching the wedding I was meant to help build turn into a closed-door production. Still, I tried to stay optimistic. I told myself it was temporary, that the stress of planning was making people forgetful. I continued paying deposits, quietly fulfilling promises, believing that, surely, things would get back to normal. But deep down, a small, painful doubt had begun to take root. What if I was being pushed out, on purpose? The moment that truly broke me wasn't loud or dramatic. It came quietly, disguised as a casual comment. I was sitting in the office break room when my coworker Natalie, who happens to know the owner of a local bridal boutique, smiled and said, "Sandra mentioned your sister found her wedding dress yesterday. She looked stunning." My blood ran cold. I hadn't even known Rebecca had gone dress shopping. That was supposed to be our moment, something we dreamed about since we were teenagers, pretending pillowcases were veils. I smiled tightly and mumbled something about a scheduling conflict. Then excused myself to the restroom. Inside the stall, my hands trembled as I texted Rebecca. Her reply came hours later. It was last minute. Megan was free, and Mom thought we should go. No apology. No acknowledgement that she had gone without me. I stared at the screen, numb. I wasn't just being pushed out of the wedding, I was being replaced. Slowly, subtly, and completely. My heart hurt in ways I didn't know were possible. I realized that the sister who once ran to me with every heartbreak now kept me at arm's length. And worse, she let others fill the space where I used to be. As spring turned into summer, the truth could no longer be ignored. I wasn't just excluded from a few errands, I was erased from the wedding. Invitations to vendor meetings stopped. My ideas were already covered. Even the bridal shower, which I assumed I'd help plan as maid of honor, was organized without me. I found out through Facebook photos, Rebecca smiling next to a cake, flanked by Megan and our mother. My name wasn't even mentioned in the caption. Still, I kept giving. I paid the deposit for the photographer Rebecca had once said she couldn't live without. I ordered customized welcome baskets for out-of-town guests. I even booked a surprise honeymoon to Bali. Spending over $8,000 from my personal savings, thinking maybe, just maybe, it would remind her of everything we'd shared. But her texts became robotic. Our Sunday brunches stopped. When I asked if she wanted help with last-minute planning, she said, "Mom has it covered." It was then I knew, this wasn't temporary stress. This was permanent distance. And I couldn't shake the sinking feeling that someone, maybe Mom, maybe Megan, was whispering in her ear, pushing me out. The wedding wasn't just hers anymore. It had become a stage for my quiet removal. The message came on a Monday afternoon, "Come by Thursday, 7 p.m. We need to talk." It was from Rebecca. I thought maybe, finally, we'd clear the air, the sisters, face to face. But when I arrived at our parents' house, the living room was filled. Mom, Dad, Megan, and Rebecca sat in a tight semicircle, like a tribunal. My usual spot, the arm of the couch by Rebecca, was taken. I stayed standing. Mom led the charge. "We've talked, and we all feel, it's best you're not part of the wedding anymore." Her voice was cold. Rehearsed. "It's creating tension. For Rebecca's sake." I turned to Rebecca. "Is this what you want?" She hesitated, eyes on the floor. "I just want things to go smoothly. You asked me to be your maid of honor. I've spent thousands. I've rearranged my life for this." Mom cut in again. "It's not about money. It's about control. You've made this all about you." "No," I said, heart pounding. "I've only ever tried to support her." Dad remained silent. Megan stared at her nails. Rebecca didn't speak again. In that moment, I wasn't just uninvited, I was unrecognizable to them. My sister had chosen silence over truth. And my family let it happen that night. I didn't sleep. I sat at my kitchen table replaying every moment. Every sacrifice, every gift I'd given Rebecca out of love. The customized wedding favors, the photographer deposit, the string quartet. And then the crown jewel, an $8,600 honeymoon to Bali I had secretly arranged. I opened my banking app, staring at the transaction. My finger hovered. Then I clicked, cancel reservation. Refund processed. Next. I opened my email and withdrew my financial contributions from the florist and the venue. The realization hit me, if they could discard me so easily, then they didn't deserve the parts of me I gave so freely. The next day, messages poured in, none from Rebecca. Just Mom, furious, claiming I was ruining everything. I ignored them. But then something unexpected happened. Megan posted photos from a surprise bridesmaid brunch. Rebecca beaming, surrounded by girls I barely knew. The caption read, "So excited to stand by my sister's side." I felt numb. I wasn't just replaced, I was erased. That evening, my best friend Olivia came over. You did the right thing, she told me. They don't get to use your love as currency. She was right. My love had never been conditional. But now, neither was my self-worth. I blocked Mom's number. I emailed the travel agency to secure the refund under my name. I wasn't just stepping back, I was reclaiming my dignity. If they wanted a wedding without me, then they could have all of it. Just not at my expense anymore. The wedding day arrived, and for the first time in weeks, I felt calm. Not because I was part of it, far from it, but because I had made peace with not attending. I spent the morning walking through the Boston Public Garden, a place Kevin and I used to visit, letting the soft breeze carry away the remnants of grief and betrayal. By midday, I got a message from Rebecca. I miss you today. I didn't know how much I needed you until it was too late. I stared at it, unsure whether to cry or smile. I didn't reply. Instead, I spent the afternoon at a cozy cafe with Olivia, sipping coffee and journaling, a habit I'd picked up to process the pain. I wrote about the importance of boundaries, of self-respect, of choosing peace over people-pleasing. And for the first time, I truly believed the words. That evening, I went home to find a small envelope slipped under my apartment door. Inside was a photo from childhood, Rebecca and me in matching dresses, arms around each other. On the back, in familiar handwriting. I'm sorry. If you'll let me, I'd like to start over. Rebecca. Forgiveness isn't a switch. It's a door, one only I can choose to open. But that night, I placed the photo on my nightstand. I wasn't ready to forgive, not yet. But I was willing to consider it. Because sometimes, choosing yourself isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new one.